We've been told that Animal Crossing New Horizons is done with new updates. With the exception of a few new seasonal items and possibly a couple new festival furniture, we are in New Horizons' final build. According to a past interview with Nintendo, there won't be any more paid DLC or major updates. So this is it. We're here. This is our game. Which means that they must be working on the next installment, right? Please? What types of mechanics will the next game bring us? What past mechanics changed the course of the series? Is it possible to actually predict what Nintendo will think up next? For us to predict what's coming, we have to look back at what Nintendo has done in the series. Each new installment added something a little extra. The original Animal Crossing alone had 3 different variations in Japan. Over time, the developers added core mechanics like a museum, Able Sisters, expanded the fish and bug catalog, added new sea creatures, more villagers, public works projects, interactive items like party poppers, new tools, holidays, hybrid flowers, a whole freaking city, new special characters, and of course, the amazing quality of life upgrades. One thing that didn't really get upgraded are the villagers. Around the time of New Leaf, for me, the villagers started to become just cute dolls that appeared around town every now and then. They started lacking personality, which is ironic since there were 2 new personalities added to New Leaf. I still question why this happened. Was it because we couldn't ask our neighbors for jobs or quests like back in the GameCube days? Or did New Leaf just add so much more to do that I cared less about my villagers? Or maybe the developers cared less about adding more to do with the villagers because they spent so much more time developing the rest of the game. Either way, I think we can all agree that to have a perfect Animal Crossing, we need more villager interactions. No matter which game we call our favorite or the best game in the series, we all agree that villagers kind of suck. Keep the extra quest options that our villagers can send us on, but let us interact with our neighbors more. Bring back the dialogue from the original, let us enjoy them again. Make them feel like real people, they're animals. Rather than nice dolls and someone just breaks the 4th wall in the only interesting dialogue option in New Horizons. There are a ton of mechanics that should stay in the game, including many that New Horizons brought us. I'm talking crafting, farming, cooking, terraforming, and outside decoration. All of those mechanics were welcome additions to the game series, and I feel like they're here to stay. Well, I hope they're here to stay. Nintendo needs to bring back mini-games and online interactions like Club Tortimer. I feel like there's nothing to do with my friends right now. You kind of have to make your own fun. People have done amazing things with their islands, but I don't want to destroy my entire island just to have fun with random people on the internet. No offense, random person on the internet watching this video. I want to catch bugs with the rando that joins the same Tortimer island, play some mini-games with them, enjoy the people in the community instead of sitting at Brewster's with my friends. I'm not one to leave my house, but there's gotta be more than just drinking coffee with people, right? A city would be a fun mechanic to return. Sure, we have Harv's Island now, which is definitely a step in the right direction from what we had in New Horizons, but it's missing the charm that past games had. Taking daily trips to Harv's can slowly start to become a chore rather than something fun to do. I always had a blast going to the city. New Gracie Grace furniture for the season, need a fresh haircut, want to experience the sight that is Dr. Shrunk for some reason. It was all there for you. Part of the annoyance of going to Harv's for me is having to talk to Orville. Maybe it's my own fault for villager hunting all the time, but Catton is and was just a better experience to travel with. Maybe if we had to go by boat to find our dreamies, we'd hate Catton too. Psh, never mind. How can you hate his face? Look at him. Speaking of special characters, where are Digby and Gracie? Sure, the Switch doesn't have Street Pass, so I guess Digby's job is pretty much moot, but Gracie? What am I supposed to spend my millions of bells on now? I don't even have close to the max number of bells that you can have in your ABD, and I feel like I've got an infinite amount of money. And yet still not enough? How's it possible to need more bells? Greed is alive and well in Animal Crossing. In the next game, I don't think we'll be going back to an island. We'll of course have beaches, as always, but I wouldn't be surprised if we found ourselves back in the forest. I think the island idea was a fun mechanic that worked well with what the developers were trying to introduce. Collecting resources and crafting makes a ton of sense when you find yourself on a deserted island. We were all trained to be S-rank Gilligans. It'll be interesting to see where they actually head next. Hopefully with some much needed quality of life upgrades. Each new game in the series has improved upon something, whether it's increased pocket size, easier storage, or just all-around smoother gameplay. There's always something better about the next game, like maybe letting us craft more than one piece of bait, or buying multiple things at Abel's. Please and thanks. Along with the quality of life stuff, we of course need more mechanics. The new Animal Crossing has to give us something cool. Our expectations are up way too high with the addition of farming, cooking, and godlike terraforming powers that we have now. We have the beginnings of mining by getting resources from rocks on our main island and finding cool islands that give us a bunch of money, or gold from rocks. The only logical next step from this is giving us a Stardew-esque mining expedition. Bring back the gemstones from New Leaf and let us craft pretty furniture. I know Animal Crossing is supposed to be a loose sandbox game, but this could help add more missions for us to complete, a fun storyline that could take shape. For the most part, Nintendo is pretty smart. They try to keep the game as true to its original form as possible while adding in extra mechanics that could fit in the world of Animal Crossing. This strategy can be amazing because it forces the developers to be completely creative with the mechanics, but it also can be a hindrance on how Animal Crossing grows and evolves as a series. If a city were to return, instead of practically mindless NPCs running around, it would be nice if we could interact with other players who are also there to shop or participate in whatever activities available for the day. It would bring more life into this game, especially for those of us who are on an island all by ourselves. Introduce it to some kind of MMO experience, but the lack of MMOs produced by Nintendo, it shows that MMOs aren't the type of games that Nintendo cares about. Miyamoto has even said in the past that he hates the way MMORPGs specifically revolve around microtransactions and updating the same game over and over again for years on end. It's not in the developer's interest to make only one game for the rest of their careers. But I'd be so down to raid someone's house, tear it to the ground, destroy their furniture and resources. Obviously, something like this would never happen. It's not the type of game Animal Crossing is. But it would give me something to do post-game. Don't get me wrong, I'm having a grand old time redecorating my island a bunch, especially with the 2.0 furniture, but eventually I'll get tired of New Horizons. Just like its predecessors. Eventually you get bored of the game. Even going back to past ones like New Leaf, you have stuff to do for like a week or so, paying off your house, filling up the museum, unlocking different public works projects, but then you're left with nothing to do. Just the same old stuff. The only thing that can truly revitalize the Animal Crossing fire is a new game with newer, better mechanics than the last one. I trust Nintendo to make something good. New Horizons was a nice refresher from past games, even though it took a bit longer than planned to release the updates. I very much enjoyed my time with New Horizons, and still do. It's hard to predict exactly what direction a game like Animal Crossing can go in because there are countless roads, and they all seem like pretty viable options. In the end, Nintendo knows best for their games. I have full confidence that whatever they think up will bring us happiness, enjoyment, and the escapism we look for in games like Animal Crossing. Now that we're 2 years into New Horizons' life, I'm getting real itchy for a new one. Gross, I'm sorry, that was a horrible choice of words, but you get what I mean. What would you want to see in a new Animal Crossing game? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!